Roasting vegetables is a simple, delicious way to bring out their natural flavors. Here are some tips for better roasted veggies. Tip 1. Get a full sheet pan. All right, this one's seen better days, but most of my life I've had half sheets, but I found getting a full sheet means less crowding. Vegetables are mostly carbs, fiber, and water, and in the oven, that water starts to evaporate, which can steam surrounding vegetables. Ample space ensures better air circulation, caramelization, and even cooking all around. Tip 2. Preheat your pan. That's right, toss in the pan into a cold oven and let it preheat together. Giving that extra time for the pan to get hot gives your veggies that extra sizzle. Just don't forget to handle it with an oven mitt when you take it out. Since this tip is about cooking time, in the description below, you can download a free guide for roasting vegetables that includes the vegetable, the temperature, and the suggested roasting times. It's a free PDF that I designed, and if you like what you're watching, like, comment, and consider subscribing to the channel. I really appreciate it. All right, back to the tips. Tip 3, keep surface area in mind. Now, they usually tell you to cut carrots on an angle to increase the surface area, but you need to think about that with all your vegetables. Consider broccoli, for example. Now, you can just toss the florets on the pan, which is super easy, but it's definitely worth cutting them in at least half and sometimes even quarters to get that flat surface. Also, there's a technique to cutting carrots so that each piece is about the same size. It's this triangular cut that sometimes you'll see people sort of cut and then rotate, cut and then rotate. Now I really like that cut and I've been using it on zucchini. Remember, changing the texture and the cut changes how you experience the food. Tip 4. Chances are you're using a spray oil or from the bottle, but consider using both, and here's why. Spray oils are great for reducing calories when cooking, and oil from the bottle gives you enough fat to actually roast, but there are emulsifiers in the spray that reduce surface tension, so when you do add oil from the bottle, you can use less to cover more of the pan. Tip 5. Okay, so here's an even better tip for using oil. Place the vegetables in a large boil and then add the oil to the bowl. This will ensure even coating on everything. Now, I've been doing this lately with my veggies and some of the meats that I cook, and the results are just incredible. Keep in mind, you don't want to drench the veggies in oil, so there is a fine balance. More oil does not result in crispier veggies. Now, I would suggest 2 to 3 tablespoons of oil per baking sheet. If you're using a full sheet, maybe even 4 tablespoons. Tip 6. All right. This tip is a little bougie, fancy, but it's worth mentioning. Splurge on a jar of duck fat. I know they're like $15 a jar, but this one lasts me months and I only need to add 1 or 2 tablespoons with the oil that I'm using to enhance the roasting flavor, and it's definitely worth it. There is an ongoing joke in my house when I tell my wife I've used a secret ingredient, and it's almost always duck fat. Of course, you can use avocado, ghee, and coconut oil because those are great options because of the high smoke point. Tip 7. All right, this next tip is straight out of Cook's Illustrated. Tent your food with foil for 15 to 20 minutes. Yes, this means you steam your veggies first, making them tender on the inside. Then roast them for 35 to 45 minutes to brown them. This technique is great for retaining some of the water if you find that when you roast your veggies, they come out too dry. Tip 8. If you can roast in the center of the oven, great. If you have 2 pans, put one on the top third and the second one on the bottom third of the oven to give ample space between them, rotating them halfway if you can or care to. And just use regular bake. If your oven has a convection setting, that's where the fan circulates the heat better, you may want to lower the temperature by 25 degrees. Keep in mind, the circulating heat can also dry out your veggies quicker. Here's tip 9, 10, and 11. Okay, 3 quick tips. Toss and turn your veggies halfway through the cooking time to give the other side a chance to roast and prevent one side from burning when you're done. Also, salt your veggies right away once they come out of the oven. And finally, sprinkle on a little bit of spice or a squeeze of lemon for added flavor. Oh, and here's a bonus tip for you. You can save a lot of your scraps and peels from carrots, onions, celery, and other vegetables and put them in a Ziploc bag into the freezer to make a vegetable stock when you're ready. Thanks for watching, and if you have any questions about roasting vegetables, let me know in the comments below, and I'll see you in the next one.